See, most people don't know what they don't know. And what I just said is English, but it's coaching. You don't know what you don't know.
I heard that term a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know. Well, what do I got to know?
Yeah, well, what do you got
to learn?
And most of the answers are within. But the thing is, most people are looking external. And the reason why is because it's uncomfortable for people to do the inner work. And that's the reason why people are stuck.
Welcome to Hands, Heart, and Hustle, where we talk real growth in life, business, faith, and fitness. I'm your host, Juan Briseño. And this is where purpose meets grind. Let's get into it.
Jeez. Hey, first and foremost, congratulations, brother. Sure, the dream come true.
Yes, sir. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm here with Jesse Cruz. Welcome.
Thank you.
Jesse Cruz is a high-performance life coach. He is a faith-based business owner, a leader who is certified in NLP and helps people align their mindset and life with their God-given purpose. Jesse has an intention to help people break through limited beliefs and eliminate self-sabotaging habits, develop a champion mindset, and reach new ferocious levels of success in their business and personal life.
Yeah.
Man, that's a powerful bio, brother.
Let me talk to you as you were reading it. You know, it's authentic because you know me, you've known me, and it's like, you know who you're edifying and introducing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here with you, bro. Because I know we talk on the phone, and it's like, you know what? You got so much input. You put so much input into my life.
I appreciate it, bro.
Speak life into each other.
Yeah.
And I think this is an honor just to be here, and we can share something for the first time and break through
and go deeper, bro. Like it's like we've already had these conversations per se, but not for the world, you know. So yeah,
and it's about being real. It's like not putting a fake front on a screen and just, you know, say that we're this and that we're actually real business owners doing things for our communities, for our families, and for people that we employ.
Yeah,
you know, I like to call them team members.
Yeah, because
they are part of a team. We're a winning team, just like any sports team.
Well, so. I see that in you. I see that. Just for anybody watching today, I attended your second fellowship group on a Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and it was a packed house. You know, it was a packed house in your own business too, and it was like, what a beautiful thing to have fellowship with other brothers in Christ who, hey, get rid of perfectionism.
Yeah,
you know, you don't like. It's like too many people. Yesterday at service, the guy said, the preacher said, there's out there a lot of believers out there that could win an Oscar for hey, look at them on the outside, but how's your heart? How are you doing with God one-on-one? You know, same thing in business. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of influencers, a lot of gurus that could win an Oscar, but yo, you get to know them, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, they're not living like the way they present themselves. Yeah. But it's good that you touched on that because it's a foundation. We're building that foundation at our office, right?
Yeah.
We're setting that barrier of Christian based in those principles. So yeah, it's a pleasure, like I said, just to attend that and to host that, man, because it's like it builds me up as a man, as a leader, as a father, as a man, because when society tells you that you can't be as manly as you should, we got to show up under the covers or behind the curtains and show that person that who we really are as a man, as a leader. But I'm going to get into some questions, brother. I'm going to ask you, questions on your life, your line of work, just so the person that is listening to this podcast can get some feedback and some gold nuggets.
Let's do it.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
What is NLP? I know that you're certified in that. What does that mean?
So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro, the way the brain thinks. You know, there's 60,000 thoughts on a day-to-day basis. Linguistics, language, the words that come out of people's mouth. You know, God blessed us with 2 ears just to hear more. You know, and I know that oftentimes, myself included, I could improve on that. But within minutes, people will reveal themselves to you from what they say. And as a man of faith, I could discern even more on a spiritual level. And then the programming is your beliefs, because your upbringing, where you grow up, does play a role into who you are. We all have options, you know. Me and you both could have been in gangs if we chose. Based on that was an option. It was right there. But look at us now.
Good, good. So NLP is like a rewiring of the brain.
On a subconscious level, yes. And the one person that has made it more known is Tony Robbins.
Mm.
And the person that I would say to anybody watching this that they should look into for more information on this is Bob Proctor, because he has a way of explaining NLP and teaching it. He doesn't go into detail of NLP, but he touches anybody who's at a beginner level right now, by listening to Bob Proctor, they would get a better idea of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I actually did some coaching with a student from Bob Proctor.
Okay, good.
And
good.
We did about a 6-month session.
Great.
But they never discussed that that's the actual program that they're using. They just teach it the way they're teaching it, but they never expose it.
So yes, exactly. So there's a lot of people out there that are NLP certified or have taken NLP trainings. They just don't publicly talk about it. The reason why I would say, because I ask myself sometimes, like, why isn't that NLP is not more well known, right? And the reason why is because most people take it, but it's a lot of real inner work that you almost just kind of want to leave it there. You don't want to take it with you. Kind of like wisdom says, don't take work home. Leave work at home, and etc. So, but it's also a great opportunity for people like me to now commercialize it. I would say, just me talking about NLP, there's thousands of people that know me that'd be like, oh, well, let me look up NLP.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in a way, it kind of takes business away from you if
no, I wouldn't say so. It actually brings in it allows me to do a better session, better work. Why? Because now I'm getting people that are
interested.
I don't have to and see, that's an abundance mindset that I have, and thanks to my relationship with God, but also being in business. No, I want you to go do your research. I want you to go study it. I want you to go contact other people, because by the time you get to me, then it's different.
Okay.
And one thing I've come to learn is that there are people that take a 1-hour test, a 1-day test for NLP, and they are certified, and they only paid $20. Where I was like, I did this for a year, brother.
Yeah.
I did this for a year during 2022. So I had plenty of time, but I also had plenty of work to do within myself to take me to that next level, aside from the life coaching. So life coaching is more, I think life coaching is more attainable for people, because they're like, oh, what is life coaching? Oh, well, it must mean that it could help you. NLP, subconscious, what is that? Not a lot of people relate to it.
How did you get into this line of work?
Great question. So I got into, first and foremost, in life coaching in 2014, 2015, right? And it was basic stuff. It's a lot of processes, right? Kind of like think about it this way. Okay, they want you to write it on a piece of paper. They want you to take notes, and they want you to do certain processes. I thought that was enough, but then I needed Jesus. So then I gave my life to Christ in 2016. I was already attending a church. Then in 2020, I was I was reaching a level of anxiety and overthinking, overanalyzing. I was at a place that I had a lot of self-sabotaging habits. I was at a place that I would drink one energy drink just to get out of bed, one energy drink during the day, and then an energy drink just to at the gym around 10 p.m. because I was dealing with spiritual warfare. I didn't know what that was. There was nobody mentoring me as a man. And then NLP, I had a contact for them. And I remember one of the people, you know me pretty well. I give a lot of my time to people that maybe cannot invest in me. One of those people that I was ministering to, he said he got me a ticket to attend an event in Los Angeles. And he said he would pick me up, actually from Riverside. So we go there. That's where I met one of the mentors that I invested in. And that's where I met the NLP trainer that I had met in 2014.
Oh, okay.
So I met life coaching and NLP in 2014 physically, as far as where do I want to invest. I chose the life coaching route. But then I attended this event and I didn't know he was going to be there. And I kid you not, everything in my being was telling me, go talk to him, go ask him for help, tell him you're not doing okay. And I'm like, well, how am I going to approach this guy? Like, well, I'm in the full thing. when it came to asking questions, I asked a public question. He said, "Oh, okay, talk to me after this." And I said, "No, I wanted to yell at the top of my lungs. No, I need it right now because you don't know what I'm dealing with." Afterwards, I go up to him and he said, "Okay, I'm going to do a process for you, but can we go live on Facebook? Because there has to give and a give." That's one thing I've learned also. Don't always just do things for free out of the kindness of your heart. Yeah, there's a time and place. And I said, "Oh, but I have a lot of people that know me. They're going to follow me." Did the process for 1 hour. It broke through that specific thing. And I said, "I've seen enough with this one session. I know these people. Take my money. Let me invest into it." And yeah, that was that.
Okay, cool. So you were dealing with personal issues.
Yeah.
From your childhood traumas.
Well, and I would say anxiety. I would say everything. Everything was accumulated to this moment in time where I needed both the coaching. I needed God. I needed stop using work as a distraction. Right. For those that know me, I'm an A personality. Go. But my battery was a negative battery at the time. I was using work as an escape. Because the more I did work, the more I didn't think about this. But it came a time and place where enough is enough.
Got it. So you personally found NLP for yourself.
Yes.
And found a way to actually use it on other people.
Well, the beautiful thing about this program that I love is that a lot of people just take it for themselves, but it's a certification training too. I took it for both. While I'm doing the certification, I'm doing it for me also. Yeah, so true leadership, it starts with you. You can't help somebody else if you haven't done it.
Right.
And that's the difference. I think that's the difference that with me. Like, I think I did my absolute best and continue to do my absolute best to work on things.
Got it. So tell me, you mentioned faith.
Yeah.
So how does faith apply to your line of work now?
It's everything. It's everything because Philippians 4:13, it's probably one of the most quoted verses, and it's I can do all things through God who strengthens me. It serves as a reminder that don't just get caught up on the first sentence, I can do all things. No, it's through God who strengthens me. So the way it works is I speak on my faith. I don't use the word religion. It's a relationship with God. And little did I know, by me talking about God, it was going to bring the most business, the most clientele. And honestly, I get a lot of clients that are either faith-based themselves, but more so they want to have that relationship with God. And it's like, you know this better than anybody. Prayer, in prayer, it's a different type of experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. The love of God.
Yeah, the love of God.
So how do your thoughts and feelings influence action we take or we don't? Okay,
so is this a coaching question or is this more like just a personal development question?
It's actually, let me go back to.
It's a good question, but
let's
not
go
specific.
Let's go to another one.
Limiting belief.
Yeah, limiting beliefs. So you're talking about limiting beliefs, right?
Let me get water.
Yeah, let me get some.
You see it too. But you feel it, huh? It's like, damn. Yeah.
So let me. So you mentioned breakthroughs and limiting beliefs.
Yes, breakthroughs and limiting beliefs.
Can you say what a limited belief is? Like, is perfection a limited belief? Is fear a limited belief?
Yes, a great question. What is a limiting beliefs? A lot of people have limiting beliefs, but they don't even know. Go ahead.
Because the word limited beliefs gets thrown out there a lot, but they don't specify what it really is.
Yeah, and this is where we get real, man. There's a lot of gurus out there, and there's a lot of self-proclaimed anything. They could say even coaches, but they're just using words.
Yes.
And because people are in a place of desperate need for something, people say, here, take their money. So there's a lot of overused words out there that people use often, and
faith is one, right?
Faith is one. And one of the things that people just say, you got to have faith. And it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? Give us show me the specifics. So faith, it's action. Faith is a verb. See, when I talk, faith is a verb. You could feel it. When other people talk about you got to have faith, it's a noun for them. It's just a word. That's it. But when you implement faith on a day-to-day basis, you create endurance. And the thing is, everybody gets excited at the start of something. But, okay, where's that excitement in day 60, day 100, year one? And this is where we talk about business too. The year one business owner, the day one entrepreneur, okay, year
They're on
10.
fire.
Yeah, it's a different engine, different motor. What is it fueled by? But why is it that they're able to sustain? Because they got endurance. Same thing goes with faith. When it comes to your question about what is a limiting belief, a limiting belief is a thought. And each thought has power. I don't know if you know this, but they could measure the speed of light, but they can't measure the speed of a thought. And how powerful is it that sometimes you think of somebody and then boom, they call you. Sometimes you hear a song and you think to yourself, oh, I haven't heard that song in a long time, but you like it. A day or two later, you hear it at the gym or you hear it at the song. You're like, what the heck? I remember I just said it. It's the power of the subconscious mind. So a limiting belief could be you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. If you're a single mom watching this, oh, because you're a single mom with kids, no one wants to marry you. Another limiting belief could be, hey, you know what? Because you haven't done this for a while, or because you're way too young, or because you may be too old for this, so people don't get started. And so when you get deep into it, it's always the same thing. Perfectionism is the root of something. Yeah, that's one of them.
Okay.
Like, so it's like the limiting beliefs is like surface level, but then you get to the root of it. Like, where is it? What is it rooted?
Okay.
Another thing that's rooted is an image. What does that mean? You care too much about how you look. You always got to wear the flashiest flash. I look at some of these gurus online, and then I'm constantly thinking, yo, okay, they make the money, but they're always bragging. They're always showing it in your face like they have to. And it's like, who are you trying to impress? Because wealth doesn't do that. Rich do that.
So you said that, right? So now with this programming that you have, the certifications that you have,
yes.
Can you, when somebody's speaking like that, you can tell right away where they're coming from? Or can you identify what phases and what stages of
Yes, I could hear it. And as you know this as a man, we're solution oriented. So that's oftentimes I'm not there anymore, but at the beginning stages I wanted to like just help somebody and like, hey, I could help you. Here's the route, boom, boom, boom. But in order to bring out the best in people, telling them what to do versus when they're actually coachable and they have a coachable index at a level 10, it's different. One of the things that I've learned through many successful coaches and people that I've invested in, they tell me, Jesse, you won't believe how many people pay in full, but then they never do anything with it. They never show up. Why? It's just they thought that they could just throw the money at the idea, at solving it. Same thing for business owners right now. One of the two things that people are trying to solve, sales and marketing. And they think, oh, if they just throw $4,000 a month on a marketing guy recording content and now they post it, okay, that solves it. It solves the aesthetic visual of it, but like, what's the root of it? What's really missing?
Yeah, because we want quick solutions, right?
Yeah,
and the one thing is like we want the how to do things.
Yeah,
how can we change this? But it actually comes down to who internally.
There you go.
We gotta change.
Ding, 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 ding. That's life coaching, and that's high performance coaching. Like you said, that's what I do. So the reason why I focus on high performance is because it's all disciplines. It's your standards, your non-negotiables, because it's dialed in on who you get to be. Because every day, even though you have the results, you've had $100,000 a year, you're going on $1 million a year, right? Net. You have a decision on who you get to be every single day. Same thing as a married man. You get a decision to make. Well, do you want to be a married man today, or do you want to go out there and mess it up? You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it involves self-control as well, right?
Yeah. So human being, that's one thing I like. As long as you understand one thing, that you are a human being and not a human doer. That's the most important thing, because when people invest into these copy-paste coaching, they're like, hey, this is what this person do the exact. It's different because you have a different background.
Yes.
You have a different story. You have a different belief system. You have a different brain. Some people are more analytical. Other people are action.
It's kind of like a diet.
Yes.
Not all diet applies to everybody identically.
You have a different blood work. So the best of the best, before they tell you and they start pitching, they actually operate from abundance and they say, hey, let me listen to you. Let me see if I could even help you. Let's see if you're the right fit. Where there's a lot of people out there that just want to take people's money.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it like these gurus are, in the Hispanic culture, we look at brujeria. And like, embrujados, right? So we talk about, who's not they ask you who's having financial problems, who's having marital problems, who's having kid problems. We all go through that.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like these gurus are now those type of people that are with the business side, right? On the business phase of it is who's not having cash flow issues, who's not having personnel issues, who's not having, client issues. So they've developed that next phase of brujeria or curandera, as they call it.
Yeah. And I come from that background of personal development that a lot of it is rooted in witchcraft. And as a man of faith, I didn't know what I didn't know. So, for example, the saging, the crystals. Man, you see a lot of successful people, and they have 6 beads on them. Like one for each color. Oh, if it's on the right hand, it means that they're giving. If it's on the left, it's like they get the angel numbers, all these numerology and stuff. But those are all forms of idols. Now, anybody watching this, there's some people that are going to be like, wow, they could relate to it. And there's other people that might be like, no, you don't know. No, I do know. I got delivered from it. And let me tell you, the reason why I was relying on that, it was because it was instant something. You felt something. But with the things of God, like some of the things that were shared in that fellowship group, okay, guys, we're going to pray about it. And we all know it's going to look a certain way. It's going to take a certain time. Let it be. But it's out of your hands. And that's the thing that most human beings, they can't grasp, because it's a microwave society. They want something now.
Got it. So yeah, I mean that Bible study today was just powerful, man.
100%.
I mean, even me as a business owner, the guys were sharing and how I could relate to them, right? Not because I'm at a different level, as a business owner, I could still relate, and that was just powerful. I wanted to mention that because you were there, and it was good.
And I acknowledge you, because the thing about it is you're not making it about yourself. You're showing up as a facilitator. That's ultimately that's happening. God is using you to gather these people. I got so much value, and I was acknowledging you, and I'm very quick to verbalize things. I'm like, hey man, I had a great time today, blah blah. Hey, Adler says, yeah, me too. And the reason why is because it was pure. You weren't there to get money. You weren't there for anything else. And when you show up like that,
tell me how your training, your programming has helped you in business and your personal life.
So it's helped me in a lot of ways. One of the things is I went from somebody who used to operate from having a schedule, and I had to do this by the hour, for the hour, blah, 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 to being somebody of regimen and being more system. So I've learned the value of being accurate rather than operating from urgency. See, when you need to make $10,000 no matter what to pay everything, you're going to have a level of urgency to you. However, urgency often gets misinterpreted by people as desperate, or like, hey, why is he so needy? Why does he want to sell me this? But they don't know that, one, like, you actually care for them, but you actually do need it. So it's helped me being disciplined. And it's also like I gave up soda, high fructose corn syrup, in December. I did a process for that. I also don't eat bread, hamburger bread. I gave up coffee September of 2023. I also don't eat chicken since September of 2023. I've done keto for 14 months, being Hispanic. So it's helped me in a lot of ways. It's also helped me read people really good.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how does talk about adversities that you've had in your past that affected you, where you found yourself in need of this programming?
Yeah. So one of the things is I used to be a procrastinator. Okay. So it sounds something so simple, but the thing about it, when you procrastinate consistently in your life, your whole paradigm is that of a procrastinator, then that means that there's a lot of things that are unattended, and there's a lot of things that never get completed. And when you have a life and a business that operates like that, it's you don't have much of a business, you don't have much of a life. So it's a dichotomy, because there I am saying I want to be a successful business owner and I want to achieve XYZ results, but then look at this. This is the self-sabotage. It's a pattern. Okay. Not only am I a procrastinator, but I'm dealing with a high level of anxiety. Then I have a limiting belief of I don't think I'm worthy. So therefore, when I'm also have a negative mindset that oh yeah, it's not gonna work out, and then it doesn't work out. I'm like, oh well, of course, because never things work out. So then I have negative stories, negative thought process, lack of discipline, not completing things. Who wants to surround themselves with that guy? Who wants to hire that guy? Aren't you the high performance life coach? Aren't you this? So and then I was also I'm sober 7+ years. I also was watching porn. I also self-service as a way of escapism. And then I was a people pleaser. So I just gave you 10 things on the surface, but they're like very deep. But that was like the rubrics puzzle that you have to, but it takes time.
Right.
So those were my self-sabotaging habits combination, that pattern. And I was in a road of self-destruction, I would say, even though I was a great guy, but internally I was about to implode, I think.
So there's stories that you created based on events that you experienced as a childhood, because that's when the traumas and the events happen in your life that you bring along, correct?
And it's called the imprint stages, 0 to 7. So 0 to 7 is when people go through their first time anger, sadness, because a child doesn't know those emotions, you know? So things in life happen. And when I work with people, it's something so simple, but it's all rooted in there. Okay, so for instance, oh yeah, that one, like I have a client who she needed to go to the emergency room, and then she woke up and her parents weren't there and blah blah blah. So then from there,
she created a story.
Things started. Now the thing about it, she loves her household, everything is great, but that emotion started there. So that means anytime any other events happen and that emotion arises, there it goes. It keeps increasing. It keeps increasing. It keeps increasing. So anybody that deals with anger, it's not just that they're dealing with anger. It's multiple events that have sparked that anger, and then they just either hold it in or they never healed through it.
Got it. So they create stories based on that emotion.
And then habits, because as you know, thoughts influence emotions, actions, and actions result, and it's a cycle. And then the only thing is, the one question that people always ask me, that they call me, is like, hey, they're trying to cope with something. I know you're reaching out to the wrong guy. I don't coach people to cope. I coach people to break through. It ain't gonna be pretty, but it'll be fun, but it's not gonna be pretty at times.
Got it.
There's no coping.
You touched on conscious mind. Can you explain that? Because most people
yeah, what the heck is that? So
exactly,
your conscious mind is this. You are aware that there's a microphone here and you have a microphone, and that we're in a specific city, and that I'm wearing a blue blazer and you're a black shirt. That's conscious. On a subconscious level, your subconscious mind is picking up everything, all these different sounds, etc., right? But you're not paying attention to it. So the best way to describe it, there's this movie with Bradley Cooper, the one with the pill, Invincible or something like that.
Yes.
And he takes it, and then now he's using 100% of his brain. But why is that? That's the conscious and subconscious mind. All of a sudden, all that data, all that information. Another way to explain it also is in the movie X-Men, or for anybody that knows X-Men, it's Professor X.
Yeah.
He sits down and then he puts on the cerebral, the brain, the helmet, and then he's able to hear so many people's thoughts and stuff like that.
Wow.
That's a good way to describe what's a conscious and subconscious without drying it out like Bob Proctor.
Right. So what about like the Matrix with the blue and the red pill? Is that one that is relatable to?
Yeah, that's also relatable too, but see, most people don't know what they don't know. And what I just said is English, but it's coaching. You don't know what you don't know.
I heard that term a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's something that you got to sit on, because I don't know what I don't know. Well, what do I got to know?
Yeah, well, what do you got to
learn?
And most of the answers are within.
Yes.
But the thing is, most people are looking external. And the reason why is because it's uncomfortable for people to do the inner work. And that's the reason why people are stuck. They think solving the fact that they don't have enough business is, they don't have enough sales. So, or they need to hire more people. Hiring doesn't solve the issue that you have internal, because you have anger issues, because it's rooted way back when, and boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it. You see it working with big companies. Yeah. As a leader, they're bursting out of anger. They don't know how to deal with their team members.
Yeah.
And you could just tell, like they almost feel like they're an adult child, how they react.
Yeah.
So I mean, this line of work, I mean, I went through my own learning of this as well, not NLP yet, but some other type of learning that I went internally, because it's all, I wasn't happy who I was. I wanted to change,
Mm.
and I realized that I have to be internally changed. Just recently I did some fitness that is physically exterior changing me. You complimented a
Yeah,
couple
yeah, yeah.
times today, and it's like I feel great, but I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm still gotta go. I still gotta be that person and develop the person that I want to be for that future self.
Mm.
Right. So how does by you creating that person, or how by not creating the person of becoming better as a head of household, how does that affect your children, and what does that create during their growth as far as that cycle of anger, of not being emotionally control of yourself as a father, because we touched on this earlier.
Yeah. And that's a great question. So, leadership, right? I think what a beautiful time to live, where a lot of people have access to social media. And the reason why I'm starting the conversation, that the answer with that is because there's so much information out there, but yet it doesn't fill people's it doesn't fill people's cup up. So now people are actually turning to God, hence the importance of what you're doing, hosting that. So the important thing about for any man that is watching this, anybody in general, but just for any man that's quote unquote the head of the household, or for anybody that has a wife, has kids, people look up to you. And we have the responsibility and obligation to make sure that we are examples to those people that are looking up to us. Because the thing about it is, there's a lot of clients that I work with, and the clients that I work with, they know when they're sitting in front of me and I call them out, they'll be like, yeah, you're right. And I tell them, hey, listen, you may think that your child doesn't know that you're dealing with depression or that you feel a certain way, but they know. And if anything, you're teaching them how to cope with it, or how to pretend it's not there, or how to minimize or justify, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, things are going to get better. Oh, you know what? That they didn't mean that.
Yes.
And they're learning behavior based off your nonverbal actions. Yeah, and that's the thing. So as men that are watching this, and the reason why I'm dialing in this is because there's not a lot of men out there these days.
Yes.
There's not. Men are not speaking up. They're not talking. Society is wiring down. And we talked about it at the fellowship group. Society is trying to condition men to think before they take a stand. Not think before they speak. Notice what I said. Think before they take a stand. Because there's nothing more powerful than when a man takes a stand for something and says, no, that is not okay.
Wow.
No, you know what? This is what we got to do, stepping up. So there's not enough leaders because men are not speaking up. And in general, men don't speak up. They don't reach out for help now.
Yeah, that's true.
They're shamed.
And the society tells us that we can't be men. We have to be soft.
Yeah.
And things are changing right now. You have women running the shows, being the provider of the family, the breadwinner. So that kind of, as a man, devalues your position. And society says we can't be macho men because it's not the proper way to live.
There's a lot of double standards going on, where it's like, why is it that when a man is passionate about something, it's considered something else? Why is it when a man shows love, as a man shows love, it's considered something else? It doesn't look. So it's like there's all these labels being slapped on men, that most men are now in a place where it's like, why even bother? Or why speak on that? Or why talk? Because we as men, we value peace of mind. And I think if you notice, most men get married with women that say, man, I love her because she just adds to my peace, or she brings peace. Now, we all know that's not forever, but yeah.
So when you mentioned value, how does a man show his worth and his value to himself, a level of love? Like, if I say I love myself, but I'm overweight, does that mean that I love myself, or is it just, it's a word that I'm just throwing out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's why one of the things I talk about, positive affirmations. Yeah, positive affirmations work, but what's your inner dialogue inside of you? How do you view yourself? So, here are some of the things that for men got to be in tune with their inner child. So one of the things you talked about is childhood. So if I was to ask you, Juan, how old is your inner child? You would say how old?
A number, probably 7.
Great number, by the way. Great number. Because some people say 18. I'm like, no, that's not a child. 7. So 7-year-old Juan, does he have a nickname? Juanito, John?
It's Juanito.
So Juanito. So if I was to ask you right now, Juan, how's your relationship with Juanito on a scale of 0 to 10? You would say what?
I would say I don't talk to him often.
So without getting personal, right? Based on the conversation, is before you try to talk to who, talk to him.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is when I coach people with their inner child. See, here's the thing in coaching. Oftentimes people just put the things, the 4 F's: family, finance, fitness, and faith, and that's it. No, what about your inner child?
Yeah.
What about personal development? What about career education? What about self-love? So one of the people that was there, that's my client, right? And I'll give him a shout out to Gerardo. His nickname is Lalito too, right? So he riding bikes, that's his inner child. So part of his 7-day thing, everybody has their own homework tailor made to them, is do something for your inner child, which for him is ride a bike. For another client of mine, she likes to go to the park. And the thing about most people, they're only in tune with their inner child when they have grandchildren. That's it. But that doesn't count, in the sense of you got to have one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's important for you as a business owner is because that's where your creative juices come from.
Yeah, it's true, because as a child, we're visionaries. We envision things. We want to be astronauts, or we want to be firefighters, or whatever. And you know, what does a teacher say? And I'm going to touch on that. Teachers tell you, oh, stop being distracted, pay attention in school or your work. But the one thing that I wanted to touch is when my coach, the one I coached with, that was a Bob Proctor's from his schooling, touched on that. You have to have conversation with your inner child. Write a letter, have a conversation in the mirror, you know, because it's important to heal your inner child, or know how to deal with it, because if not, when you blow up, it comes out as a bad side of that child. Yeah,
and that's what you said earlier about some of these business owners, these adults, like they react as a child rather than respond. And that's because they need some inner work. So the greater thing to understand is that there's, like, I would say 90% of the world needs this coaching, needs dialed in on a subconscious in their child. These are the stuff that they should be implementing in the school system at an early young age. Self-awareness, you know, inner work, how to process things. And the one thing that a lot of people don't have is the ability to compartmentalize things. What that means is, hey, if you only had 10 minutes to spend on one thing to solve for today, go solve it. And that's it. After 10 minutes, be okay with the rest. But everybody wants to solve everything like yesterday.
Yeah. And going back to the teachers, so teachers have a big influence in our kids.
Yeah.
And when a teacher is not fully, like now, I think, you know, they're taking flags down and they're putting on the hanging the trends and the genders and all that flags, and they're representing that it's okay. So it confuses our kids, right? So when I was young, one of the teachers is, I felt like my dad was a mason. He was in construction.
Okay.
And they always kept saying, the programming that they had was, no, you have to go to school to be somebody. You have to go to school. You have to go to school. School wasn't really for me. So I was almost ashamed of my dad and the line of work that he's in. I now have a construction company, but for a long time I was ashamed to expose it, because I had that shame and that guilt, you know, because I was programmed from my teacher that wasn't worthy, but yet I was making more money than them.
Yeah.
So it's how those people of influence program the kids, and then they grow up with their own stories. And can you touch on that?
Yeah. So the imprint stages of 0 to 7 are the most important years. You know, the reason why is because that's when people learn, they get a grasp of what reality is. But it's just a reality of boxes. See, a lot of people go to the same school, but everybody goes to different homes, different beliefs. So I think this is a whole thing with public education. I love education. I just think that it needs to be solved a little bit better, in the sense of, hey, if there's a dolphin, why put him on land? Put the dolphin in the water so it could be the best dolphin and swim and reach its capacities. If someone's a cheetah, a lion, put them on land. Why are you putting them out in the snow or somewhere else? So I think that the better question, and we could talk about this because there's a bunch of quote unquote conspiracy theories, or who pushed this agenda of this type of information, you know, because a lot of people are conditioned to be employee mindset.
Yes.
And I'm not saying being an employee is a bad thing. We need employees.
Yeah, we need.
Bro, I just went to a restaurant. Somebody has to show up to the restaurant to cook and feed. That's not my skill set. But I think we live in the greatest country where you could be anything, anyone, anywhere.
Yeah. And then that goes to that question is, right, everybody wants to be a business owner.
Yeah.
Right? But yet they're not good employees.
Yeah.
So how can they transition, or how can they graduate to become a business owner if they're not good employees?
That's a great.
Can you touch on that?
Yeah, that's a great. So one of the things there's a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but the cash flow quadrant. It talks about the employee, solopreneur, self-employed, and then the business owner and investor. I think having a strategy is the best thing. So me, I'm a solopreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Going to being a business owner. The best thing for me, according to the book, is to continue operating as a solopreneur, self-employed, and have an investment. So like we met Brother Allen, one of the speakers, right?
Yes.
It's like he has a way to, hey, bring in the capital, invest it here, keep doing, gather the money, and then you'll retire by 45. If somebody's an employee, they have income to buy a business. But see, most people, that you could do anything. You could be a business owner and an investor. But as far as what's the question?
So the question was, how do employees want to be business owners? They always want to take that role of leading.
Yeah.
But they don't take their job serious when they're employees. Yeah. So how can they make that transition? Because a lot of people, as a business owner, I need good employees.
You need good employees.
I need good employees to perform so we can be profitable.
Yeah.
And we could be one of those companies that stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
But if I can't develop a good employee, and yet let's say that employee wants to open his own company, if he wasn't a good employee, like, what does that cause failure?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
So that's a good question. And it's also one to talk about is like what's going on in today's world. There's a lot of entitlement going on. And I'm sure you experience that, where it's like some people don't know what they don't know. Like the question that I asked earlier. And it's they think being a business owner is easy. They think it sounds good on paper. Oh, you make so much money, you get to tell people what to do and blah blah. But who's answering the calls? Who's doing the taxes? Who's doing the everything? All the things that you're solving. Who still has to show up to their house? An employee gets to check in, check out whenever they want, and go on to their life. So I think one of the best way to get the best quality employees is, aside from getting to know them, is showing them the work it takes to be a business owner, And this is why I'm a fan of what I do, because then reading people is not just, okay, well, what personality type are they when it comes to the DISC personality, DIC. Other thing is, what's their brain type? Okay, are they analytical? Are they more alchemist? Alchemist is me. That means like, the reason why I'm able to be here is because, it's faith-based. I'm supposed to be here. Right. Somebody else has a calendar like, oh, you know what? No, book them until so-and-so. So they don't have room to navigate. Other people are more architect. 1 + 1 = 2. Everything has to make sense. Everything is organized and structured. So there's different types of brain types.
Got it. So, so there's different categories that people fit in, right?
Different categories. So knowing what category. So it's the right investment to have some sort of system to get to know your employees or potential employees and get to know them in a shorter period of time, because it'll save you so much time in the long run. Whereas if you knew you had a dolphin, why are you plugging in a dolphin into land when it's like plug them into the water?
Yeah, it's one of my coaches. I have coaches too that I invest in. They told me, get the right people on the bus, having them sit on the right seat. And having the right bus driver counts.
Yeah.
And I think there's a book that says that having the people that are properly seated that need to be on that seat in that position.
It's having a rock band, being part of the band. Let the drummer be the drummer, the guitarist be the guitarist, the bass be the bass, the singer be the singer. Everybody plays it, and then they create a great music together.
Right.
But see, sometimes everybody wants to be the star of the show. Egos kick in. That's a different conversation to have. How do you deal with something like all of a sudden things were going so good, but then money comes in. Money changes people.
Yeah.
Or the reality is money just exposes people, Money just gives you access to more of the things more of your vices, more of your self-sabotaging habits, or more of the things that you like to do.
So touch on a self-sabotaging behavior. What is what is that?
So self-sabotaging behavior, for me, what it was is Oh, okay, cool. At some point, I'm such a people pleaser, so my self sabotaging habit was, instead of focusing on work, I needed validation to feed the people pleasing limiting belief that I had. Let me go and do a lot of good work, so people then look at Jesse, he's such a great guy, because I wanted that narrative, so it could feed the inadequacy of somebody when I was younger or something, right? Because I was feeling not good enough. So the whatever acts of service, whatever actions I was doing, it was great, but I was burning out. So the self-sabotaging habit was, being broke was a result of people pleasing, helping so many people. What about you, Jesse? Are you taking care of your business? How are you doing, bro? Oh no, I'll get to that after, because what's more important, take care of this. Is it really? Or what's the root of it? So people pleasing is one of the main roots of self-sabotaging habits. So you see how I get to the bottom of it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I can see how the people pleasing affected finances.
So talk about your an area where you grew up. How did you grow up? Because that obviously, like as we talked earlier, affected things.
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of three. So the way that affects me was like always looking inward. How am I responsible? How am I responsible? Right? Having to be a leader. I grew up in a 1 mile city radius, Hawaiian Gardens, before there was a casino. So all I saw was girls getting pregnant at 16, or there was no success. There was nothing there. It was nothing on TV. And then I didn't have cable till I was like 14 or 16. I didn't have a gaming system until I was 14. I remember when I did get cable, man, I celebrated that thing like it was like the best thing ever. And then I got brainwashed or impressed upon by Pimp My Ride with Exhibit the rapper, and I thought, oh man, for sure they're gonna come into this city, because this city needs a lot of work, and they're gonna come and say, hey guys, based on the fact that you guys are good people here, we're gonna pimp your ride. No, that never happened. And then the other thing that, like, I thought the show Sweet 16 or all those shows, I thought, oh, for sure when I turn 18, my parents are gonna surprise me and they're gonna give me, here's a brand new car because you were a good student, honorable, you were an athlete, now you're going to college. Like, here you go, wake up. Like, so I lived in a world of disappointment once I started turning 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then also in 2008, my first year in college, that's when the market crashed. My mom got laid off. And then I returned from college and I said, what? You got laid off, but you've been working there for like 10 plus years. Like, you were loyal to them. You never took any sick days, vacation days, because it's in Hispanic culture for them not, what's sick days? No, sigue trabajando, síguele ese.
Yeah.
So then that kind of sparked the business entrepreneur side of me, where I was like, if I'm going to be loyal to anybody, I must be loyal to my dreams and my vision.
So did you grow up with both parents?
Yes, blessed to say that. Where a lot of my close friends, a lot of the people that you know around me too these days, my business partners, etc., they didn't have that.
So what ethnic are you? Are you
Hispanic? Yeah, Hispanic. And the thing is, one thing I do want to touch up on that's important is, now that I think about, because you brought up a bunch of things, I didn't learn English till I was in 5th grade, and that was something that affected. Because if you know me now, you're like, hey bro, like, you speak the way
I was the same thing. I learned
you could relate.
I could relate.
Well, how old were you when you learned it?
About that same age. Because all we spoke was Spanish.
Yeah. So I grew, and you were born here?
Yeah, I was born here.
So me too. So I was born here. So I remember crying home a lot of days, bro. Or like, I'm like, why are we singing in English? What are we saying? I was just tuned out. I'm like, I don't know. But no one would teach me. And I had a little like journal. So I've journaled since I was like forever. And I said, God, please, like, teach me how to read English. And it wasn't until 5th grade. And just to mention a few things to laugh about is like,
I could just imagine you too as a little kid with your long hair.
Yeah. Yeah, but big head too, because I was like, I was very skinny, you know. So
you were a little bobblehead.
Yeah, no, big time satellite head. They would say low, the big ears and stuff, and cricket teeth. So low self-esteem based on that, because growing up Hispanic, they point at that real quick. Your own house.
They look at your flaws and they point them out.
Be your own people, but nevertheless, I I used to say, I used to get excited when Spanish words were translated into English, like tortillas. I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. Keep it up, keep it up. So I used to say tenedor. I used to like spin the freaking words. And I remember like it wasn't until like fifth grade that I was like, oh, fork. That's what it means. But shout out to not growing up with cable. Shout out to PBS. I grew up with PBS and then The Simpsons and a bunch of stuff like that. So learning English was probably one of the best things that happened. But then it also caused me to be overthinking.
Got it.
I wasn't a great public speaker. I speaking in front of the class, so I would turn super red.
Got it. What's one of the quotes, I would say, quotes that has struck you the most, that has changed your life, or you made you think like, wow, this is a good quote, like it made you live out that quote?
Well, there's a lot of them, right? I go a lot with scripture now. So obviously Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Psalms 55 verse 22, which is give all your burdens to God. As far as quotes, one of the things that I've learned is, there's a famous quote, you got to treat others the way you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. That also doesn't mean, though, that you got to tolerate BS behavior, though. So that's the one thing, too. One of the recent quotes for wisdom was pursue holiness, not happiness. Because when you chase happiness, you'll never be happy. Yeah. Same thing when you chase money, you're never going to be happy. You're always chasing the next dollar. But when you pursue holiness, and holiness comes from God, you get everything.
So does money buy you happiness?
I say money makes it a lot easier. Things gives you access. I say don't neglect it. That used to be me. I used to. So one of the things to talk about in the coaching NLP, when I sit down with people, what are their core values? And this is something that me and you both know. So money wasn't in my top 10 core values because I didn't have it growing up. So I had to me being the oldest, I had to figure out a way to like, oh, well, I'm rich over here because I got plenty of friends. I'm rich over here because, well, look, I got all this. So that I had a level of complacency because I never had it. So I became very optimistic. That was a decision I had to make, right? But complacency was something when it comes to money, like not having it. Oh, it's not that bad that I don't have it. No, bro, it's terrible. You need it. So I did a process to reprogram money to be up there. So much so that now everything I do is like a negotiation at the table.
Yeah. So talk about success. Is success having a lot of money, or success being successful in different areas, having some type of balance in different areas, like we talked about family, fitness,
everything. So
what does success look like for you?
So for me, first and foremost, I don't believe in the word balance because there's no such thing. And then the thing with that is, in people ultimately, see, what is balance? What are people seeking? Harmony. Okay, harmony. But what is people seeking? Peace of mind. Why don't they have peace of mind? Well, because they need to work because they want to leave generational wealth, but then they got the wife and kids at home. Oh, but they don't want to go to them, spend time because then they got to work. So ultimately what they need is peace of mind. So the word is integration. Integration solves things. So what you and I have is brotherhood, fellowship, friendship, business. We talk about health and fitness. We talk about personal development. We talk about like 6 out of the 14 areas. So success, according to The Stranger's Secret, that's the audio that I have everybody listen to, is success is the person that says they want to be a great teacher and then they go out and be a great teacher.
So
so it's in the being.
Is being successful a part of a limited belief, or getting money a limited belief to the point where they're so attached to it?
I think the pursuit of an identity is, well, depending on the root of it, that's the issue. Because you being ambitious is not a wrong thing. Like, for instance, you being ambitious is the reason why your business is where it's at and where it's going to go, and then you're able to provide. Somebody needs to be the ambitious one. Somebody needs to wake up like, hey, you know what? I don't want to just live here in a 2-story house with 10 kids. No, time to move up. So ambition is not wrong. However, if somebody it's the story. If somebody's collecting money, it's for the purpose to fill up the fact that they grew up so poor, or somebody told them or made them feel so belittled that they're trying to prove that. It's like, bro, that time already happened.
Yeah.
Let it go. Move over here. No, but this one person is, and that
So
person
they hold on to a story that happened a long time
Yeah,
ago.
and you've seen these people on stages.
Control.
The other one is it's like the little man syndrome. So what does that mean? Is where they're trying to overcompensate. So they become so good at acquiring money to overcompensate for the fact that something over here. So stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like a scarcity mindset?
I was just thinking that right now. Scarcity mindset. Yeah, scarcity mindset. There's a funny thing about it. People listen to this. You could have a lot of money and still have a scarcity mindset. They're hoarders. There's not enough. So they don't want to do business with other people, or they don't want to show other people how to do it because they're like, oh, well, if they show these people how to do it, they're going to take away their business.
Yes.
Kind of how you asked me earlier is like, hey, well, does that create competition? Or like, no, man, I want people abundance. There's plenty of business.
That's one of the things that I used to deal with is if I give them too much, are they going to start their own business? But there was a quote that I heard, right? You can give people your recipe, but they're not going to bake it the same. Right? So for them, it's like they haven't done, and it's a scarcity mindset.
A scarcity
right?
mindset.
Because if you build somebody up that's a good employee, now that allows you to leverage him.
Think about the person in 2001 that was saying they know how to make $1 million selling the net zero internet CDs or the AOL, and they're like, they're not going to teach anybody how to make $1 million off of that. If that same person existed today, they'd be broke because no one's buying that product anymore. They could have made 10 times more by teaching. So I think it's more of also taking inventory. What is worth giving away? What is worth giving away to who also? And I think as human nature, Tony Robbins talks about it, the 7 needs of a human nature. One of them is eventually you reach a level that you just want to give and contribute. So in order to sustain, I think that's the word to teach people, sustain their success. Because getting it is a lot easier. Sustaining it's the work. If you're consistent, you will get it. If you're persistent, you will keep it, they say.
Awesome. Well, that's close to our time. I want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you guys for rocking with Hands, Heart, and Hustle. If this hits home, please subscribe, drop a review, share it. Until next time, keep your hands working, your heart aligned, and your hustle going. You guys can follow me at The Juan Briseño. You can follow our sponsors, my business at BCD Industries. And this is my host
at Life Coach Jesse. Find me on all social media platforms at Life Coach Jesse on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, JESSE at Life Coach Jesse.
That's it, guys. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, this is at Life Coach Jesse. And if you watch this video and podcast and something resonated with you, or if you're watching this and right now you feel stuck in your business, or there's self-sabotaging habits in your business and personal life that you want to break through, make sure that you contact me. I have a 90-day high-performance program that will get you out of that rut, and it will put you in a place where all of a sudden you're being a high performer and achieving the goals that are important to you. Make sure that you follow me at Life Coach Jesse, and remember, God is good all the time. In Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. God bless.